I want to be an inventor. I want to meet Bigweld. I want to be somebody. I'm playing Rodney Copperbottom, I suppose the young country bumpkin robot who's the son of a dishwasher and in the small town, and his father becomes ill. He's an inventor and he loves to invent things, and he can fix anything. He seems to be very skilled as a fixer, a mechanic, or I don't know what the robot term would be. And his father becomes ill, so he decides that he's going to save his dad, and he's going to go off to the big city to find Bigweld, who's his hero. And when he gets there, discovers that Bigweld's nowhere to be found, and in fact things are slipping away, so that someone else is in charge, and there are no spare parts for robots anymore, and there's only upgrades. Everyone just goes, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it, except our hero, Rodney Copperbottom, who steps up to the plate and saves the day. He makes a stand. He says, no, this isn't good enough. We can't let it be this way. My mistake was hoping that Bigweld would fight our battles. Well, he won't. It's up to us. If we don't do something about Ratchet, no one will. Come on, let's fight back. It's quite difficult, it seems, the process. I'll read the scene through with the director, where he's reading all the other lines, just to get a sense of the scene. And then we'll kind of pick each line out one at a time. So it becomes quite technical. It's not, you don't have the normal flow of things, but it's so specific. You're only using, I found this by doing radio work in the past, that when you're only using the voice, when that's all you've got to tell the story, then there's a kind of freedom in it, although because it becomes so specific, somehow it kind of, sounds like a contradiction, but it kind of sets you free in a way, because you only, you're not worrying about anything else. It's just, it's quite pure.
Look around for a need and start coming up with ideas to fill that need. One idea will lead to another, and before you know it, you've done it. Bigweld's philosophy is very much like my own. Anything is possible. You just have to have faith and stick-to-itiveness, and you got to be diligent and go for your dreams, and believe it or not, you can make your dreams come true. And that's what this is all about. Ratchet! I'll come right to the point.
What happened? Run out of dominoes? I'll send you some more.
You're fired. It's different. You don't have to worry about makeup. You don't have to worry about what you're wearing. You go in, you get the spirit of your character. You do it maybe 50,000 times to get it really right. Because it's not just ad lib and, fling. You have a fling at it and then they say print it. You really have to get it right. To do it professionally and perfectly. And, but when you got it, I usually yell at the control room, we got it. I'm not going to do better than that. And they say, okay. And it's easier and fun and funner.
Home, sweet home. What's mine is yours. Oh, dear. Fender is, like I said, some of his parts he's basically put together over the years. He's had to find new parts as he goes along, kind of improving himself as things become available. And sometimes borrowing. I wouldn't use the word steal, let's just say borrow. He would return them if the owner found him. But he's living basically day to day, trying to get along, as we say. Doing a few things, odd jobs, because he's an odd person. But that's all right, Yeah, you do what you can, He's got a few problems, but who doesn't? Yeah, I think that, you realize that. It's like anybody living in a big city. You do what you can. Yeah, you wash a few windshields, with that. You spray, and you do what you do, A lot of people say, first I started to make them like that, but then, you can only be, hey, now that the Red Sox, hey, wicked piss a smart bot. How you doing, Chief? But we didn't want to make it that way, so we kind of, made him just quick on his feet when they're working. Yeah, basically that. I think capable of adapting to anybody and selling, scamming. Scam man, basically, con man, but not that good. Kind of like a decon man, kind of a little off, but still thinks he's at the top of his game, kind of.
Nice one of you. Come on, we gotta get you out of here. Cappy is the love interest of Rodney, who's the main character of the movie. But she's also a character in the movie who has a lot of integrity. She sort of stands up and goes against the other robots who are in power to sort of help the smaller bots, sort of the smaller people. She sort of sticks her neck out there within her own company to help the small guy. But she also has another issue because she realizes that while she's a beautiful, pretty bot, all new parts, she realizes that she's traded in all of her old parts for upgrades to get a better position at her job. And Rodney helps her realize, you know, you were better than that. You didn't have to do that. You could have kept your old parts and you still could have had this job. You didn't have to kind of sell out. So she teaches him, you know, that it's okay to upgrade and be better. And he sort of teaches her that you don't have to do that. There's sort of a compromise to be had here. I'll escort him out. You don't want to look bad in front of your people, do you?
Good point.
And when I get back, I'll show you my casual, fun-loving side.
Oh, you.
I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a voice. Woohoo, it'll be fun. And it has been fun, but it's also really challenging because you are in a dark room all by yourself. There's no other actors really to play off of. You have no costume. I mean, I look at Cappy, I look at the drawing of her all day for inspiration. And you oftentimes can't even hear the reaction of the other actors, you know, via video playback. So you sort of have to create this world for yourself, by yourself, with the help of the director, and kind of make it come to life. And I know
somebody else around.
I've had to come back and do this voice probably 10 times. And I thought, I'll go and do my voice for a couple hours and I'm going to be in a movie. No, it's like after the first day, they said, oh, well, you're going to come back about 10 more times. That's the way it goes. And I thought, you're kidding. Really? And as I came back each time, I got more and more uncomfortable. I found out more about who she was. I would go home and think about new things to try when I got here. And it's just a different, it's about a year-long process, really. It's just a really different way, you know, to work. And scary, a little bit scary, you know. And because I've never done it, I thought, God, I hope I'm doing this thing right, you know.
You think you can mess with my big brother? You're kind of cute. Piper is a member of the group The Rusties, which is like a group of kids basically that are friends, and they are orphans, and basically their mom in a way is Aunt Fan, and she takes care of everyone, and she's like the mother figure to all of these kids, and she is in love with Rodney, and she does everything she can to get him to notice her. And it's a funny little storyline because he's not really interested in her, but she doesn't really let that stop her from, you know, liking him or, you know, trying to get his attention. Listen, shiny pants, you get back there and find a part for my brother. We are not junk, we are not scrap, and we will not be treated this way. One of the best things about doing an animated movie is that you can come in sweats and, you know, a t-shirt and not have to worry. But it's hard because you aren't working with your actors. That's why it's so important to have a good director. And that's why I say Chris Wedge is such a wonderful director, because he has to act like some of the other parts when you need to do a scene when you're talking with someone. So he, you know, sometimes I'll ask if he'll do it in a lady voice when there's a lady speaking. But, you know, he'll do it in his same voice. But it's really fun because, you know, you aren't doing it with the actor, but you have to imagine that you are. So that's why it's important to have such a good director.
I am tired of just complaining and never doing anything.
I'm Drew Carey, and I play Crank. Mark.
They sweep you up and take you to the chap shop.
I swear, I didn't even read the script or anything. They just said the guy from Ice Age is doing a new animated movie. Would you like to do it? And I had lunch with him, and the characters looked fun, and he seemed like a nice guy. And he told me a little bit about the movie, but it was like blah, 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 and I just decided I wanted to do it just to be in a big animated movie.
Hey, you want my advice?
Sure.
Forget it. Never try, never fail. Those are the words I live by.
My robot was just fine, thanks. I don't need the other robots to be happy, because I can shine no matter what.
Lug's it's weird. In the robot world, he's kind of like the Incredible Hulk of all the robots. He's big, he's green, he stands over everybody. But the only difference is he doesn't really have that rage. It's like he thinks he does sometimes, but he's kind of like a cool, lovable, calm, gentle giant. And I like him. He kind of looks over all the other robots, and they can't help but look up to him because he stands over them all. And he's kind of that comforting, dominating force that's always present. He's like their robot security blanket. You never find parts of my size. The cool thing about my character is as I said, he's very big and it's hard to explain, but when I looked at the first drawing of him, the first painting of him, I just kind of immediately was absorbed into that persona. It was almost just, he's big, he's kind of slow, he's lovable, and it was pretty easy. I mean, he's a lot like me, except for the slow part, because I'm a genius. Hey, Diesel, I found your voice box.
That's no good. Give me that.
The force is strong with this one.
Get up off of that thing and shake the you feel better.
All right on my shoes. I'm so clumsy. Well, hello there. What's your name?
I was so excited when I got to see the illustration of Aunt Fan because she has, the most amazing behind, and it's massive. And I can't really think of anyone who has a behind like that in real life. But I'm working on it. No, she's just, she's incredible. She can fit, people in it, and she can knock everyone over. And she's this incredibly sort of she's like that great aunt that, that you've always sort of, that I never had that sort of aunt that she's very nurturing and very, she's very round. And, she's sort of like, the ally to the gadgets that are discontinued. But she has that, that she's that aunt you always wanted to have. And then the behind to boot.
Oh, what a man!
Someone get a crane.
It's interesting. You come and you try out some stuff. And that's where I was really nervous that I wasn't going to be part of this thing because I thought all I have to do is give a couple dud versions of this and I won't be able to do it. So I was, but I really actually thought Aunt Fan was going to sort of sound a little bit more matronly, and I like that they let me make her a little sexier than I thought they were going to let me do. And, they were very supportive here. But yeah, you don't really know. It's so weird. You're at home and you try these things out sometimes, and then you get to wherever you're going and you do it in front of people, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" So, yeah, I tried out a couple, and I guess they liked one of them, I guess.
Wait, please! Can I just make one more heartfelt plea?
Okay, what did you want to say?
Oh my gosh, I'm as crazy as my mother.
I think Ratchet's misunderstood. Evil? No. Some would say. He's the head of a, sort of a global corporation, and he's the number 2 guy, next in line, if you will, and he's a bit ambitious. And yes, it's true he would do anything to get what he wanted or needs, including basically disembowel the robots, but he's still a decent guy if you really get to know him.
Okay.
Security, we have a party crasher. It is kind of strange because, you're so much of your work when you're doing anything is playing off of the people that are around you and kind of having the comfort of knowing where their space is and where yours is, and energy and all of that comes into play. So here you're in a big, giant, empty room by yourself. It's very lonely, and you really depend upon the guys kind of behind the glass telling you whether or not you're in the zone or you're not, and so trust becomes a big part of the game. But it's great fun, you know. There's no restrictions on where you go with this, because there is no prototype for a robot that runs a corporation, as far as I know. So it's really fun to just kind of experiment and fall on your face sometimes and hit something decently the next time, and that's what we do here.
All right, break time's over. Chop, chop.
Look who's here. I play Madame Gasket, who's the sort of demonic mother of Ratchet, who is the baddie, really, and these they're all robots, but this particular mother and son outfit are trying to take over the world, basically, and she is a very pushy mother, I think you could describe her, and resonant of all sorts of powerful and evil characters we can bring to mind, and hope that you'll bring a lot to mind when seen on the screen.
Think what it would mean. Not Bigweld Industries, Ratchet Industries.
Actually, with animation, you've got the other voices to play back, so you can, even if there's no one there, you can have played back on the headphones the voices of the other actors who've been in before. So there's a lot to bounce off and pick up from there. I mean, sometimes when you're doing live action, there's no one there at all, and you have to just have somebody else reading the lines off. But it's another of those disciplines that you have to take on board.
Someone's fixing them.
What?
Someone is repairing out modes, and they are laughing at you.
Who? And are you sure they're not laughing with me?
Yes.
The luxury of recording and in a recording studio like this, you can do it over and over again, and it's not that expensive. I don't think it's not like it's film, so you can do it up teen times and until you get the flavour that is required. So it's quite a nice way of working, really. You get different clues and different ideas, and you can develop it, and the director says, yeah, a bit more of that, and so you're quite free to go quite a long way with the extreme characterization.